Close your eyes. The voice is soft, almost dissolving into air. The world begins to fade, the hum of traffic, the distant city pulse, the gentle hiss of wind through leaves. Everything that held you here loosens, thread by thread. Gravity grows kind, releasing its quiet grip. You feel your body lighten, as if sleep itself were lifting you upward. The warmth of your breath becomes the only sound that matters. Each inhale draws you closer to silence. Each exhale drifts you further away from everything known. Beneath your closed lids, light begins to move. Not the light of lamps or screens, but a slow shimmer, silver dust unfolding in an endless dark. It is not black, this space, but deep blue that breathes somewhere, faintly. A note of music hums, a single tone stretching toward infinity. The earth falls away below you. Cities shrink into specks of brightness, then into memories. Clouds fold like waves. Mountains smooth into the curve of horizon. From here, the world looks asleep already, a small blue dream resting inside a larger one. Time loosens its hands. You drift in stillness, where moments have no order. The body remembers what it means to float, to be without weight, to belong nowhere and everywhere at once. Then, from far beyond the edges of thought, comes a whisper. The stars are sleeping tonight. It echoes softly, like a lullaby sung through the void. You begin to see them, points of light, pulsing gently, as if breathing in unison. They are not cold. They are alive, dreaming slow and endless dreams. You are invited among them, not as an observer, but as a traveler of silence. The path is invisible, made of breath and memory. You sense that beyond every star lies a story of birth, of burning, of rest. The universe is not empty. It is filled with the sound of things falling asleep. Your heartbeat aligns with that rhythm. The stars seem to blink in time. For a moment, you are neither awake nor asleep, just suspended in between, where everything feels infinite. And as you drift deeper into the dark, you realize this is not departure, but return. The journey has already begun. Welcome to the sleep of the stars. You drift into the dark, but the dark is not empty. It breathes. A low hum rises around you, steady and endless, like the sound of an ocean heard from beneath its surface. The air no longer feels like air. It is softer, thinner, laced with quiet electricity. Every sound of the earth has dissolved, leaving only this pulse, slow, infinite, patient. Before you, space unfurls. The first shimmer appears, a faint silver mist stretching across the black. It quivers gently, as though it were alive, as though light itself were taking its first breath. Then another shimmer follows, and another, until the dark becomes a slow river of motion, blue, silver, white, folding and unfolding in silence. You begin to sense distance, but it is not the kind you've ever known. Here, distance is alive. Every point of light is impossibly far, yet feels close enough to touch. Stars blink in slow rhythm, their light arriving after ages of wandering, carrying whispers from a time before memory. Each flicker is an echo of something once burning, of warmth that still remembers its birth. A veil of cosmic dust drifts across your path, like silk in water. Behind it, nebulas bloom in pale violet and blue, their shapes forming and dissolving, never the same twice. Some glow faintly, like candlelight behind fog. Others pulse with quiet fire, their edges alive with color no human tongue has ever named. The hum deepens, becomes almost a voice, low, resonant, wordless. You realize it is not outside you. It moves through you. The space around and within are the same. Each breath you take seems to join the rhythm. And you are part of the great inhalation of the cosmos. You open your eyes wider, though they have never been closed. Everywhere, stars move like gentle waves, rising, falling, breathing together. The sight is too vast to hold, yet impossibly calm. There is no fear in this expanse, no edge to fall from. It is all flow, all softness, all quiet unfolding. This, a voice murmurs, not loud but endless, is the ocean of time. The words echo through every particle of light. They ripple outward, brushing against galaxies, moons, invisible rivers of dust. Time itself seems to stretch, dissolve, and become fluid. No longer a line, but a sea without horizon. You float there, weightless in the tide of existence. Every star feels like a heartbeat, every shadow a breath between lifetimes. And as you drift deeper into this slow and shimmering vastness, you understand. The universe does not expand, it exhales. And you are inside its breath. Somewhere within that vast and breathing silence, a whisper begins to form. It is not a sound exactly, more like the soft stirring of thought, the glimmer of awareness beneath the hum of stars. You feel it before you hear it, a vibration threading through your chest, a warmth pulsing faintly in the darkness. A voice, if you can call it that, rises from the distance. It is older than language, gentler than memory. Come, it says, come closer. The light is waiting. You turn toward the source, though there is no direction here, only gravity made of longing. One star shines brighter than the rest, trembling faintly as though caught between waking and sleep. Its light flickers, not in warning, but in invitation. You understand without thinking. This is the one who called, a sleeping star. Its glow is slow and deep, like the heartbeat of something immense and dreaming. You drift toward it, drawn not by motion, but by surrender. Every breath seems to move you forward. Every silence folds the distance smaller. Around you, the universe blurs into streams of color, silver, blue, soft white. They twist and curve like ribbons in a current, forming a corridor of light that hums with energy. The sensation is not of speed, but of stillness stretched thin, like gliding through the pause between two thoughts. Light invites me to go deeper. You think, or perhaps the star thinks it through you. There is no separation now, only reflection. The brightness ahead grows softer, yet infinitely wide, as if you are falling into a dream that remembers your name. The hum grows warmer. The silence begins to pulse. You can almost hear the slow exhale of the star, the rhythm of its rest. Each flicker feels alive, each shimmer a sigh, and through it all runs a deep calm, a knowing that you are being welcomed, not watched. You drift closer, weightless as breath. The surface of the star stretches below you, not a solid thing, but a sea of light folding over itself. Waves of radiance roll in silence, blooming and fading in rhythm. You reach out, not with hands, but with presence. The star responds. A faint shimmer touches your consciousness, and suddenly you are inside its dream. Images rise and fall, rivers of molten gold, clouds of dust swirling through time, echoes of ancient creation. You glimpse entire histories sleeping within its glow. And then, just before you vanish fully into that light, you hear it whisper again, barely a murmur now, as if drifting back to sleep. Follow the quiet. Beyond me, others are waiting. The words linger, dissolving into the hum. You breathe, and the universe moves with you. You are no longer merely a traveler. You are part of the dream, floating onward through the luminous dark. The light gathers. At first, it is only a shimmer, thin threads of silver weaving across the vast dark. But slowly, purpose begins to form. The shimmer thickens, coalesces, becomes structure. The universe itself seems to bend inward, folding around a single point until it glows like a living heartbeat. You feel the pull again, gentle, magnetic, patient. The sleeping star behind you sighs in its dream, and the echo of its breath carries you forward. Ahead, the light twists into a column, then a ring, then something more intricate, a crystalline gate, suspended in nothingness. It hums softly, not a song, but a resonance, pure tone, vibrating through your bones. The color changes as it turns, blue at its edges, violet at its center, and at its heart, a pale gold that feels like memory. Its surface is neither solid nor liquid. It moves like slow fire inside glass, rippling in time with the rhythm of your own breathing. The air, or what once was air, vibrates. You reach toward it, though there is no motion in space. Every part of you simply leans, and the gate brightens in response. For a moment, you glimpse yourself reflected in the crystal. Not a body, but a silhouette of light, a constellation in human shape. Behind the hum, there is a whisper, faint, endless, and tender. It speaks no words, yet you understand. Each door is a dream. Each dream is a star. You hover before it, suspended between awe and surrender. Around the gate, dust particles of light swirl in slow spirals, forming patterns that dissolve as soon as they appear. It feels alive, like a consciousness waiting to be touched. Then the light begins to pulse, slowly at first, then with growing clarity, like a heart sinking to your own. The vibrations deepen until you can feel the tone in your chest. The universe itself seems to be breathing with you. You take one final breath, long and full, and allow yourself to drift forward. The crystalline light opens, not like a door, but like a sigh. As you cross the threshold, time fractures into color. The hum becomes 1,000 voices singing in silence. For an instant, you are surrounded by patterns of geometry too beautiful to last, shifting, blooming, vanishing. The sensation is neither falling nor flying, but dissolving into motion. Then, as quickly as it began, the brilliance fades. A soft vibration hums beneath you, a low tone, resonant and strong. In the far distance, the light rearranges itself into the faint outline of a figure, a presence vast and ancient, waiting among the stars. You hear the name ripple through your mind, Orion. The gate closes behind you with a final shimmer, and the hum settles into silence. You have entered the realm of the first sleeping star. The silence here is vast, like the pause between heartbeats. In its center stands a figure woven from light, tall, radiant, and trembling faintly with exhaustion. This is Orion, the celestial warrior, whose name has echoed through the ages of both myth and star. His form is outlined in constellations, fragments of light joined by invisible threads, each pulse marking a battle fought across eternity. His armor glows faintly, though the brilliance that once defined him now flickers, dimming at the edges. The sword in his hand, once a beacon cutting through the dark, now burns like a dying ember, soft and blue, a whisper of what it once was. The space around him feels solemn, reverent. Dust and starlight drift through the void like snow in slow motion. A hush envelops everything, as though the universe itself is holding its breath to witness his rest. You drift closer, and his gaze, though not truly eyes, turns toward you. Within that gaze is the memory of suns and storms, of victory and loss so ancient they no longer carry pain. His voice arrives without sound, vibrating through the silence. For eons I have stood awake, guarding the dark. I have burned so others could see. But even flame must sleep. The words ripple through you like waves. His tone is not weary in despair, but serene in surrender, a noble acceptance. The stillness that comes after a long war has been won. Behind him, the remnants of his battles shimmer faintly, arcs of energy, broken constellations, drifting echoes of old light. They move slowly, dissolving into the void, becoming part of the cosmic dust that will one day form something new. You watch as his hand lowers, and the sword follows, its glow dimming further. The hum of its light fades into a soft resonance, the sound of a flame exhaling. Orion's outline grows gentler, less defined, as though the universe is wrapping him in its arms. There is no defeat in rest, the voice murmurs, more distant now. Only return. Around him, the stars seem to bow. The emptiness glows faintly gold, and the hum that fills the air is neither mournful nor triumphant. It is peace, stretched across eternity. He kneels. Or perhaps he simply sinks into the fabric of the cosmos. The sword floats beside him, its blade dissolving into light. Slowly, that light expands, unfolding like a final breath until it joins the surrounding haze. In that moment, you realize this is what it means for a star to sleep. It does not vanish, it releases. The brilliance of Orion fades, leaving behind a quiet afterglow, a lingering warmth. The space hums once more, a sound both ancient and tender, echoing through your chest. The warrior dreams, and the universe dreams with him. His voice reaches you not through sound, but through light. Slow waves of radiance that tremble as they move across the void. Each flicker carries a fragment of thought, a pulse of memory. It feels like listening to a heartbeat made of centuries. I have fought long enough, Orion whispers. The words drift through the starlit air, dissolving into dust before they reach you. Yet you hear them clearly inside your mind. He stands tall, though his shape flickers softly, edges melting into shadow. The once blinding glow of his armor has faded to a gentle shimmer, like dawn filtered through mist. His sword of light lies beside him, weightless, glowing faintly with the color of regret. For so long, he continues, I believed that burning was purpose, that to shine, to fight against the dark, was to live. But every flame, no matter how proud, hungers for rest. His confession is not sorrowful, it is calm, full of the fragile grace of something finally understood. You sense no defeat in him, only the quiet unraveling of pride. the shedding of armor that has grown too heavy for its wearer. Behind him, constellations shimmer faintly, fading in and out of existence like echoes of memory. Each one tells a story of battles written in starlight, of countless lives that once looked to his glow for direction. You realize that every myth of Orion, the hunter, the protector, the eternal light, was only a fragment of his true being. Beneath the legend lives a tired heart, ancient and tender. He lifts his gaze towards you, and for a moment the vastness of his years floods through you. The births and deaths of stars, the endless turning of galaxies, the loneliness of immortality. You see that his brilliance has always been both gift and burden. The light that guided others also kept him from resting. "I burn to be seen," he says, his voice like wind across distant sands. But light cannot look upon itself. Only when it fades can it finally feel. The silence that follows feels holy. Around him, the dark begins to glow, soft and pale, as though the universe is listening in reverence. You drift closer, suspended in the stillness of his confession. He closes his eyes, or perhaps his stars dim slightly, and the sword's glow flickers one last time. "I am not what I was," he murmurs, but even fading light remembers the sun. For a heartbeat, everything is still. The vastness hums with quiet understanding, and you feel the truth of it settle into your bones. Pride dissolves into peace. Struggle becomes surrender. Orion's voice fades into a whisper. "Let me rest among my own light." The words melt into the silence, gentle as sleep. The old star exhales, and the universe breathes with him. The light around Orion begins to change. It no longer burns, it breathes. The sharp brilliance softens into a deep azure glow, like moonlight melting across an endless ocean. The warrior's outline flickers, fragments of him loosening into ribbons of light that drift outward, slow and graceful, as though gravity itself has forgotten how to hold. He does not resist. The great hunter simply exhales, and his breath becomes mist. It curls into the dark, spreading like smoke through the silence. The sword beside him dissolves first, its blade turning into threads of silver dust that weave themselves into the fabric of space. Then his armor follows, each piece evaporating into faint constellations, small echoes of the glory he once carried. You watch, unmoving, your chest rising with his rhythm, as though your lungs and his light have become the same motion. There is no tragedy in the sight, only peace. The vast blue around him begins to shimmer, revealing the birth of a nebula. The air, or whatever replaces air here, fills with tiny motes of radiance. Each one pulses softly, carrying warmth where once there was fire. Orion's voice returns, quieter now, a vibration in the hum of the cosmos. "Light does not die," he whispers. "It only changes its form." The truth of it blooms inside you like dawn breaking behind closed eyes. You feel it in every atom, every soft vibration that threads through this infinite night. The certainty that nothing is ever truly lost, that every ending is simply the start of another shape. The nebula deepens, its blue stretching wider, turning translucent at its edges. The remnants of Orion's form are no longer distinct. His essence has merged with the glow. His once mighty shoulders have become soft spirals of color, his face a gentle cloud of light drifting among the stars. There is beauty here, immeasurable, eternal. It is the kind of beauty that only comes from release, from allowing the self to unmake itself completely. You sense joy within the transformation, the quiet joy of returning home. The surrounding stars respond, flickering faintly, as though bowing in acknowledgement. The hum of the universe shifts key, warmer, more resonant. Through that vibration, you can almost hear a pulse, ancient and vast, a heartbeat made of 1,000 suns. You whisper the truth back into the silence, unsure if you speak it or if it simply moves through you. Light does not vanish. It becomes the space between stars. A final shimmer crosses the nebula, and the last trace of the warrior's shape fades. What remains is calm, endless blue, a cradle of new beginnings. And somewhere, deep within that tranquil glow, a faint spark stirs again, a reminder that even the tiredest light still dreams of shining in another form, another sky. The silence deepens. The hum of the universe softens to a steady, tender note, like a final breath that lingers long after it has left the body. Before you stretches what remains of Orion, the vast field of blue light that was once a warrior, now unfolding into a nebula that hums with quiet grace. You float there, suspended in stillness, watching as the last remnants of his constellation dim. The 3 stars of his belt shimmer faintly, then fade into the fabric of the cosmos. Each pulse grows slower, gentler, until their rhythm matches your heartbeat. There is no sorrow in the fading, only an immense calm. It is as if the entire universe has stopped to listen, honoring the silence that follows the song. You understand then that endings do not need mourning. They ask only for stillness, for presence. Orion's light begins to drift. Wisps of silver and blue move outward, spiraling in elegant patterns that dissolve as soon as they are born. You watch as they scatter across the sky, becoming threads of energy that will one day kindle other fires. Each particle carries memory, the echo of his courage, his weariness, his surrender. The cosmos gathers these fragments tenderly, folding them into itself. You feel your own outline blur at the edges, as though his dissolution has touched you too. The boundaries between observer and light, between traveler and sky, begin to soften. You breathe, and the nebula breathes with you. For a long while, you say nothing. The stillness is its own kind of language. It speaks of return, of patience, of the endless cycles that shape existence. You sense the pulse of Orion's essence lingering in the distance, a soft vibration that might last forever. Slowly, your gaze lifts. Beyond this quiet field of blue lies darkness, vast, untouched, alive with distant sparks. In the folds of that darkness, something stirs. Another whisper, faint and rhythmic, calls from afar. It is not sorrowful, nor urgent. It is gentle, like a dream half remembered. You turn toward it, feeling the pull, an ancient invitation that moves through the marrow of space. It feels familiar, as if one dream is leading to the next. The glow of Orion fades completely behind you, but the warmth remains, resting softly against your chest. You whisper your farewell, though no sound is needed. Sleep well, old star. May your light find its way into new skies. The words drift outward, joining the dust and radiance. And for a moment, the entire nebula seems to shimmer in response, a quiet acknowledgement, a nod from the deep. It is gone, its brilliance swallowed by distance, leaving only the faintest trace of azure haze. All around, the dark expands once more, vast and patient, yet it is no longer empty. It hums with the memory of what was. Every inch of it feels alive, alive with potential, with dreams waiting to be born. You let yourself drift forward, following the current that moves unseen through the void. The stars ahead pulse like gentle beacons, each one a sleeping soul waiting to be found. Somewhere in the depths, a soft echo reaches your mind, fainter than a breath, but clear enough to understand. In the dark, I hear the dreams of others. The words ripple through you, threading warmth into the silence. You do not know whose voice it is, Orion's or the universe's, but it feels like truth. You take one final glance behind you, toward where the warrior once burned. The space there is empty now, yet full of peace. His story has become part of the stars, and with that quiet knowing, you let go, drifting onward into the waiting dark, where another dream is beginning to stir. The darkness stretches ahead, vast, endless, and trembling with faint whispers of light. You drift deeper into its quiet folds, carried by a current you cannot see. Somewhere within the silence, a pulse begins, a slow, distant rhythm, fragile as a fading heartbeat. At first, it is only a tremor in the dark, a flicker too faint to name. Then you see it, a massive star, immense beyond comprehension, burning in the dim hues of twilight gold and crimson. Its light is weak now, thin and wavering like a candle guttering against the wind. Around it, clouds of dust and gas swirl gently, glowing faintly as if illuminated by the memory of fire. You approach, and the air, or what passes for air in this infinite night, grows warm. It is not a fierce heat of youth, but the lingering warmth of something that once burned with purpose. The star hums softly, its rhythm uneven yet steady enough to feel alive. Each pulse spreads through the void like a slow tide. The hum deepens into a tone, long and low, echoing across the emptiness, the sound of a life remembering itself. As you draw closer, you can almost sense its exhaustion. The once bright aura trembles, and each flare that rises from its surface dissolves almost immediately into dust. Yet there is grace in its decline. Every flicker feels deliberate, every dimming shimmer a kind of beauty, a farewell painted in light. The color around it shifts constantly, hues bleeding into one another, amber into rose, rose into violet, violet into deep blue. You can feel those colors more than you can see them. They vibrate through your chest, sinking into your pulse. The star's energy moves through you like a sigh. It speaks not in words, but in warmth. You feel it against your skin, brushing like breath. Its message is simple, tender, and infinite. I am still here. You close your eyes, letting the faint radiation hum through your bones. You imagine that this warmth is the echo of everything the star has ever touched. The planets it once lit, the comets it once guided, the fragments of matter it sent spinning into the great unknown. All of them now scattered, yet still carrying its signature glow. The hum falters. Another wave of silence spreads outward, deeper this time. The warmth wanes. What remains is a faint shimmer, the ghost of its once radiant fire. You reach out with your mind, trying to hold that last flicker, but it slips through your grasp like sand through an open hand. The star breathes one final time, Its light flickers, then steadies for a heartbeat, an echo of pride, of remembrance, of peace. And in that pause, you realize that even a dying star refuses to vanish without grace. Its last ray is not an end. It is a promise that warmth will linger, traveling forever through the vastness, carrying whispers of its life to every corner of the dark. You hover there, silent, feeling the faint trace of heat fade against your skin. The rhythm slows, and the void grows quiet once more. From the dim heart of the star comes a murmur, a low, trembling vibration that feels like memory surfacing from a great distance. It ripples through the void, fragile yet full of presence. The light flickers, not as a pulse of life, but as a remembrance, and through it, the voice of the dying star begins to unfold. Once, it whispers, there were worlds that danced around me. You see them as the star dreams them, small spheres of color suspended in a slow waltz, emerald, amber, pale blue. They turn in graceful orbits, shimmering with clouds, oceans, mountains that glint like shards of mirrors. For a moment, they seem alive again, illuminated by the last breath of their parent light. The star's glow shifts, painting the dark with gold. I gave them warmth. It continues. I gave them morning and evening. They sang to me in waves of wind and water, in storms that carried my reflection. The images drift outward, each one dissolving as it forms. A single raindrop suspended in air becomes a crystal of light. A forest turns into dust, and then into stars again. These visions are not dying. They are remembering, soft and slow, like breath leaving a body at peace. You watch the memories float through space, scattering like luminous dust. They drift past you, glowing faintly, each particle a fragment of something once real. Laughter turned to color, wind turned to motion, love turned to brightness. They swirl in slow spirals before fading into the vast dark, absorbed by the silence that birthed them. They are gone now, says the star, but their dreams still pass through me. You sense those dreams, the faint traces of thought that still orbit the dying flame. They are wordless, gentle, full of awe. The wonder of beings who once looked up at their sun and saw eternity. The star remembers their voices, not as sound, but as vibration. Their gratitude lingers, tangled with its own fading warmth. The light grows softer, almost translucent. Every flicker feels like an exhale, every glimmer a farewell. You realize that these are not just memories. They are the star itself unraveling, its essence spilling into the void as quiet beauty. I am not losing them, it murmurs. I am returning them to the dark from which we all came. The dust thickens for a moment, a shimmering cloud of remembrance, then slowly begins to thin, drifting farther away until only faint traces remain. You reach out, letting a trail of glowing particles brush across your hand. They vanish instantly, absorbed into your skin like warmth, fading into memory. It feels neither sad nor final. The light's departure is gentle, inevitable, a story that has told itself and now rests. The star's hum quiets, its tone descending into stillness. Yet within that silence, you sense the truth of its final confession. Light never truly forgets. It simply drifts on, as dust, as warmth, as memory, returning home to the dark. The hum fades into quiet. The light stills. The star, immense and trembling, has entered a kind of sacred calm. Its surface, once alive with flares and motion, now ripples only faintly, like the chest of a sleeping giant who has almost forgotten to breathe. You hover close enough to see the shimmer of its skin, a river of molten gold now slowed to a tranquil flow. The colors deepen, amber to crimson, crimson to indigo, until the whole sphere glows like a heart lit from within. The rhythm that once pulsed through space has steadied into silence. Everything waits. There is a pause so deep it feels eternal. The darkness around you ceases to expand. Time seems to bow, to hold its breath in reverence. The dying star rests in perfect suspension, balanced on the threshold between being and becoming. You feel its voice within you, faint but steady. When I am still, it whispers, I touch eternity. The words resonate like a bell struck in the dark, long, slow, and infinite. You feel them move through your bones, through the light around you, through the unseen fabric that connects every spark in the universe. Here, in this stillness, there is no grief, only grace. The star is not afraid. It is aware. You sense that it knows what comes next, that the silence is only the breath before creation, that even destruction is just another form of light learning to change shape. The calm deepens. Dust gathers in gentle swirls, forming halos around the star. Each speck glows with soft reflection, turning the dark into an ocean of suspended gold. The scene feels weightless, timeless. You are not witnessing an end. You are witnessing a prayer. Within the heart of the star, something stirs, a slow, rhythmic tightening, the final heartbeat of a being made of fire. But there is no urgency, no panic. It feels natural, inevitable, even kind. The star exhales one final time, and the sound it makes is almost music, a tone so pure it feels like the memory of sound itself. You close your eyes and listen. The silence is so complete, it becomes presence, thick and radiant. Every molecule of space around you vibrates faintly, in harmony with something larger, something ancient. You realize you are hearing not the end of a song, but the pause before it begins again. Light gathers inward. The edges of the star pull tight, folding its brilliance into a single condensed pulse. The entire cosmos leans toward it, as if waiting to be born anew. The dying giant's voice returns, fainter than before, softer than breath. In stillness, I remember who I am. You understand now. The star is not collapsing in despair. It is surrendering into transformation. The stillness is not death. It is the final meditation before rebirth. Around you, the fabric of the universe hums again, low, resonant, trembling. You can feel the energy building, the quiet tension beneath the calm. It feels like standing at the edge of a wave about to break, or hearing the inhale before the symphony begins. You do not move. You only breathe. The air, if there is air here, tastes like light about to open. The star glows brighter, gathering every particle of itself into a single point. The silence sharpens, becomes absolute, and then nothing. Pure, infinite quiet. A pause so vast it could hold eternity. And in that stillness, before the great unfolding, you sense a truth that feels older than creation itself. Even the brightest stars must first fall silent before they are born again. The stillness shatters. A tremor moves through the dark, subtle at first. then widening like ripples across a cosmic sea. The star, which had been holding its breath for ages, suddenly exhales. The silence that once wrapped the universe is torn open by brilliance. Light erupts. It does not burst outward violently, but unfolds, magnificent, unstoppable, like a flower of fire blooming in slow motion. The glow is pure, immense, and unbearably beautiful. Every layer of the star peels back in waves of color: molten gold, fierce white, violet shot with silver, crimson dissolving into azure. The sound, if it can be called sound, is a deep, harmonic vibration that rolls through space like thunder seen rather than heard. The explosion expands faster than thought, yet within it, there is still grace. No chaos, only transformation. You feel the pulse reach you before the light does. A warm surge through your chest that turns your breath into radiance. And then the brilliance arrives, washing over you in a flood of illumination. For a moment, there is no you, no star, no separation. You are inside the light, immersed, weightless, infinite. Every atom in your being hums with the same tone, a resonance that feels like the heartbeat of existence itself. Time collapses. You are everywhere at once, past, future, center, edge, all dissolved in a single shimmering instant. The light keeps expanding. Whole galaxies seem to tremble in response, their distant stars blinking as if awakened by the shockwave. The dying giant becomes a creator once more, scattering itself into the fabric of everything. Its fragments are seeds, glowing particles of potential that drift outward to form new stars, new worlds, new beginnings. You drift with them, pulled gently into the current. The force is immense, yet tender, guiding rather than consuming. You feel yourself carried forward, as though the light has chosen you to witness its rebirth. Through the brilliance, you hear a whisper, a memory left behind in the waves of energy. There is no end, only light changing its name. The words pulse through you, and something inside begins to unfold. You see visions within the storm, nebulae forming like dreams in motion, threads of matter weaving through the void. Each glowing filament dances with color, twining into vast spirals that stretch beyond comprehension. Then, gradually, the intensity softens. The waves of fire fade into mist. The roar of creation becomes a gentle hum again. You open your eyes, if eyes mean anything here, and find yourself surrounded by a new kind of radiance. The explosion has given birth to a nebula, vast and serene, glowing with hues of rose, sapphire, and gold. It drifts in elegant motion, alive with the breath of new beginnings. The air is soft, the silence kind. What was once destruction has become creation's cradle. You realize the light has not thrown you away. It has carried you here, into this nursery of stars. Around you, the remnants of the supernova shimmer like petals floating on a cosmic sea. You can feel their quiet joy, their relief at becoming something new. You take a slow, soundless breath. The warmth of the newborn nebula seeps into you, calming, infinite. Somewhere within it, a spark flickers, the first heartbeat of a new star. You watch, motionless, full of awe. The dying giant has scattered its dreams, and from its ashes, another light prepares to awaken. The universe hums softly again, the vibration tender, eternal. You drift closer, letting the glow enfold you. And as the colors deepen, as the cosmic mist begins to breathe, you hear the faintest whisper, calling from within the glow, "Come closer, traveler. There are other dreams waiting." The light bends gently around you, and the journey continues into the heart of a newborn world. The silence that follows the explosion is not emptiness, it is rebirth. You awaken within it, drifting softly through a vast ocean of light. The darkness that once surrounded you now glows from within, filled with slow-moving tides of color that shimmer and fold upon themselves. The nebula stretches in every direction, endless, alive, breathing in hues of rose and violet. It feels less like floating through space and more like being suspended in a dream. The air, if such a thing exists here, is thick with radiance. Threads of light coil and unwind, drifting like underwater currents. Dust particles, illuminated by unseen energy, swirl lazily around you. They move with the patience of eternity, their pace slow enough to quiet every thought. You reach out, not with hands, but with awareness, and the light responds. Each mote of dust hums faintly when your consciousness brushes against it, as though the particles recognize your presence. Their glow pulses gently, synchronizing with your breath. You realize that the entire nebula is breathing with you, expanding as you inhale, softening as you exhale. The rhythm is soothing, steady, infinite. You lose the boundaries between yourself and the light. The pinks deepen into lavender, the purples into blue, and within them glimmer faint rivers of gold. The clouds of color twist and shift like silk caught in slow wind. Far above, great arcs of gas stretch like the arms of sleeping giants. Every motion feels deliberate, unhurried. You begin to hear a hum again, not the sharp, resonant sound of stars, but a delicate undertone, a whisper of existence. It is the sound of the dust itself, the gentle friction of particles meeting and parting, the murmur of new beginnings forming in silence. A thought drifts through you, soft as the light itself. This is what remains of everything that ever was. The dust glows brighter in response, as if it understands. Each particle feels sacred now. Each flicker a memory carried across time. Perhaps these fragments once belonged to stars long gone, to the warrior Orion, to suns before him, to the very birth of light itself. And now they float together again, part of a great, unending breath. You turn slowly in the soft current, feeling the weightlessness of being without purpose. There is no direction here, no up or down, only the pulse of creation repeating itself in endless rhythm. The nebula moves as a single organism, and you, within it, are one of its cells. You drift through folds of violet haze, watching golden trails shimmer behind you like slow-moving comets. Everything here feels alive, but alive in a way beyond time, beyond thought. You sense that stars are forming somewhere deep within this glowing sea, still unseen but already dreaming. You close your eyes, and a light remains, inside, outside, everywhere. The hum settles into your heartbeat. The rhythm of existence continues, calm and infinite. And in that stillness, you realize you are not simply drifting through the nebula. You are part of its breath. As you drift deeper into the nebula, the silence begins to change. It's no longer empty. It hums with countless faint murmurs, like a choir sung under breath. At first, you think it's the vibration of light, the echo of particles colliding softly in the current. But then you realize the sound is language. Each whisper belongs to a grain of dust, tiny, weightless, luminous. They move together like a constellation of memory. One floats near you, shimmering faintly gold. When it brushes past your awareness, you hear its voice, delicate, trembling like wind passing through crystal. I once belonged to a star, it says. I burned in its heart, bright and fierce. I was part of its fire. You listen. The voice is neither sad nor proud. It carries the calm of something that has seen every shape of existence. Another grain joins, violet and small, spinning slowly in your path. Its tone is softer, older. When the light faded, I drifted away. I thought it was the end. But it was only change. The heat that left me became warmth in something new. You begin to hear them all, thousands, millions, each whispering in a language of vibration and glow. Their words weave together into a shimmering current that moves through the nebula. Some speak of fire, some of wind, some of being carried on comets or sinking into oceans. Every voice is a story of transformation, how energy becomes dust, how dust becomes light again. You float among them, feeling their song surround you. It is not music made of sound, but of resonance, patterns of existence remembering themselves. You realize that the nebula is alive not because it breathes, but because it remembers. Every fragment here holds the story of what it once was and a promise of what it might become. We are never gone. A cluster of dust murmurs, their light flickering in unison. We only change places in the great pattern. Their glow pulses brighter as they speak, like stars being born in miniature. You feel their warmth ripple through you, through everything around you. It's not heat, but recognition. The intimate knowing that all forms share the same origin. The dust swirls faster now, forming a slow spiral that glows rose and gold. Their voices blend into one long sigh, infinite and serene. We have been flame and wind and ash and breath. We have been lost and found again. We are the memory of energy. The spiral expands, then softens back into stillness. The whispers fade into a steady hum, the same tone you've carried since the beginning of your journey. It resonates through your chest like a heartbeat that isn't yours, but somehow includes you. You realize then that you, too, are dust, gathered briefly into form, luminous for a moment, destined to drift and change again. The last whisper reaches you as you drift onward, light and unbound. Everything that was, still is, just changed into another kind of light. The drift continues, slow and tender, until even motion forgets itself. You no longer move through the nebula moves through you. Its colors dissolve into your being, or perhaps your being dissolves into them. The boundary between what is you and what is light becomes uncertain, then meaningless. You breathe, and the breath is not yours. It belongs to everything. The golden dust brushes against you, glimmering like the remnants of forgotten suns. Each particle hums with recognition, merging with your essence until you can no longer tell where one ends and the other begins. You reach out instinctively, but there is no hand to extend, no distance to cross. There is only contact, instant, total, infinite. The thought of self flickers once, a faint spark of habit, and then melts away. It is replaced by warmth, by motion, by a vast and wordless awareness. You are no longer a traveler observing the cosmos. You have become part of the current that flows through it. Time loosens completely. Every moment folds into the next like waves merging in still water. Colors swirl through you, soft and slow. Rose, lavender, silver, pale blue. You feel them move, but not around you. They move as you. A thought drifts through the silence, as calm and clear as moonlight. There is no one watching. There is no one watched. There is only light seeing itself. The phrase does not come from you, nor from anywhere outside. It simply arises, like breath, like gravity. Its truth settles through every particle of your awareness until even the meaning of it disappears. What remains is sensation, gentle, formless, endless. The dust around you continues its soft dance. You feel their voices, though they no longer form words. They are pure vibration, resonating in harmony. It is not communication, not sharing, it is unity. The same hum moves through all things. You realize this is what the universe sounds like when it remembers itself. Your thoughts, once distinct, unravel into the rhythm. Memories of who you were, your name, your voice, your shape, fade into abstraction. They become patterns of light drifting through the cosmic sea. It does not feel like loss. It feels like return. For the first time, you understand what stillness truly is. It isn't the absence of movement, but the perfection of balance, where everything moves together so completely that nothing appears to move at all. You have become that stillness. You are the breath within the dust, the glow within the silence. You are the memory of stars resting in themselves. There is no separation to speak of, no longing, no search. The traveler, the journey, the cosmos, all dissolve into one shimmering pulse, infinite and calm. And within that boundless peace, one last whisper stirs, soft as a sigh through starlight. You were never apart. You were always the light looking back at itself. From the great stillness, movement returns. Not sudden, not loud, just a gentle stirring, like the first breath after a long dream. The dust that once drifted in endless quiet begins to shimmer with a faint, deliberate rhythm. Light gathers where there had been only haze, as though the nebula is remembering how to shine. At first, it is only a glimmer, a tremor of gold threading through clouds of violet and rose. Then another pulse joins it, and another, until the space around you becomes a web of luminous veins, glowing softly beneath the surface of darkness. The dust begins to pull together, drawn by invisible music. What was scattered now converges, coiling inward, folding light upon light. You watch in reverent silence as the first spark forms, a small knot of brilliance, delicate yet unyielding. It quivers, as if uncertain of its own existence. Around it, the dust trembles and collapses toward the center, spinning faster, glowing brighter, pulled by the gravity of creation. The hum deepens. You can feel it in the marrow of what remains of you. The vibration is slow, patient, full of promise. The colors swirl in perfect harmony, no longer drifting without purpose, but gathering toward new birth. The faint spark brightens. Its pulse steadies. A voice, if light could have one, begins to murmur through the silence. Not in words, but in warmth, in expansion. Every atom vibrates with the rhythm of becoming. The star is being born, It glows now, no larger than a heartbeat in the vastness, yet its radiance spreads outward like dawn across eternity. You can sense its wonder, an innocent, wordless awareness awakening for the first time. Its light feels softer than memory, brighter than hope. The surrounding nebula responds in kind. Dust streams flow inward, feeding the newborn flame. The remnants of ancient stars, Orion's courage, the old giant's warmth, the voices of dust and breath, now spiral into this new form. You see them merge, their stories fusing into a single radiant promise. And then, all at once, the star exhales. Its light blooms fully, flooding the nebula with a tender, golden glow. The colors around you shift and dance, rose into gold, gold into white, white into the clear blue of infinity. You feel its warmth reach you, gentle and familiar, like the echo of every light you've ever known. There is no difference now between old and new, death and birth, only transformation, only continuity. The hum settles into calm again, a quiet rhythm that seems to say, it has begun. All around, more sparks appear, small flickers forming in the folds of dust. One after another, they ignite, until the nebula becomes the nursery of stars. You watch their tiny pulses shimmer in unison, like hearts learning to beat. Each one glows with the memory of what came before. The dust, the silence, the dissolution. Nothing was lost. Everything became something new. You drift closer, letting their light wash through you. It feels like forgiveness, like renewal. You sense the universe whispering through their glow. Every end is a beginning waiting to be named. You close your eyes and listen to the soft hum of the newborn stars. The sound is pure, endless, full of grace. A thought passes through the silence, simple, tender, absolute. Every death is a greeting. And as the nebula breathes once more, you follow the sound of that truth into the deepening glow, toward the next horizon, toward the heart of the sleeping dark, where another mystery is waiting to dream itself awake. The path grows dim again. The warm glow of the newborn stars fades behind you, their lullaby dissolving into distance. Ahead, the light begins to bend, not vanish, but curve, pulled inward by an unseen gravity. The air itself seems to tighten, heavy with silence. You have reached a threshold, the border where light forgets how to travel straight. Here, the universe folds inward, and time trembles like the surface of a still pond, disturbed by a single drop. The darkness ahead is different from all you've known before. It isn't absence, it is presence, dense, infinite, patient. It hums so quietly that the sound feels imagined, yet your entire being vibrates with it. It's as if a cosmos itself has stopped speaking, choosing instead to listen. Around you, the stars stretch and blur, their shapes elongated into rivers of gold. You can see the fabric of space bending, light caught in slow spirals, unable to escape. The nearer you drift, the quieter the universe becomes, as though every atom is holding its breath. There is no fear here, only reverence. The colors fade one by one, until all that remains is shadow touched with faint silver. The hum deepens into something almost tangible, a pressure that rests against your skin, gentle yet immense. Time elongates. Seconds lose their edges, melting into one another until they become a single, endless moment. You realize that what you are seeing is not destruction, but devotion. Every photon that reaches this place bows, curves, and gives itself willingly to the dark. There is a holiness to it, a surrender that feels more peaceful than any light could ever express. You drift closer. The stars behind you grow thin, their glow folding softly into the void. The dark before you moves like liquid glass, shimmering faintly at the edges. It is not black, but deep, luminous gray, an ocean reflecting all light it consumes. As you hover near the boundary, the hum around you ceases entirely. The silence becomes absolute. It is not empty, it is full, so full that sound has no room to exist. You feel it press into you, surrounding every thought, every breath, until even your heartbeat forgets its rhythm. For the first time, the universe feels completely still. No motion, no time, only the unbroken expanse of being. You look into the curve of light one last time and realize you are standing at the edge of understanding. The threshold where everything known dissolves into what cannot be known. It feels less like an ending and more like a beginning, whispered so quietly that only silence can hear it. The void breathes once, slow and infinite, and you, suspended in its breath, whisper back without words, a prayer of stillness, a vow of surrender. As you step closer to the heart of the dark, the moment you cross the threshold, sound begins to unravel. It does not fade. It folds, layer by layer, into silence. The gentle hum of distant stars, the faint tremor of light, the quiet pulse of your own breath, all of it slips away as though swallowed by a deeper rhythm. You feel it more than you hear it, a slow pull, constant and immense, drawing every vibration inward until the universe itself becomes mute. The blackness around you thickens, soft and dense like velvet. Even thought seems quieter here. Every idea slowed to a whisper before it disappears. The silence is not absence, it is fullness, so complete that nothing else can exist beside it. You wait for an echo, a trace of the world you've left behind. There is none. The sound of your heart becomes the only pulse remaining, faint and irregular, a fragile rhythm against infinity. You can feel it echoing through your chest, not as noise, but as motion, a small tremor in the endless calm. Nothing is lost. A voice murmurs inside you, whether it is yours or the void's. You cannot tell. It only grows quiet. The truth of it settles through you like falling dust. You realize that even here, where no sound can travel, existence continues. The waves that once sang have not died. They have only changed their shape, folded into stillness. Every echo the universe ever made is here, contained within this deep, resonant hush. You begin to sense the structure beneath the silence, the way it hums invisibly, how its stillness is woven from the memory of every sound it has ever swallowed. It is like listening to the echo of creation itself, condensed into a single, eternal pause. The heartbeat slows further. Each pulse spreads into the dark, soft and round, then dissolves completely. You imagine the sound reaching the edge of the black hole, curling inward, becoming one with the gravity that binds all things. The rhythm becomes a wave, then a breath, then nothing at all. And yet, there is peace. Here, silence does not feel like erasure. It feels like rest. Every vibration, every cry, every note of the cosmos has come home. You feel the weight of it in your bones, the stars that exploded, the dust that drifted, the voices that whispered, all now sleeping in the dark. The blackness glows faintly at its edges, as if remembering light. You sense that this silence holds the seed of everything, the way soil holds the promise of forests. It is not the end of sound, but the beginning of what comes after. Your pulse steadies once more, faint but sure. The silence embraces it, not to erase, but to cradle. You close your eyes and listen, not with ears, but with being. And in the depth of that stillness, a truth blooms gentle as dawn. Nothing disappears. Everything simply grows quiet enough to hear itself. You drift beyond the edge of sound, past where even silence breathes. The pull of the black hole is gentle now, no longer a force, but an invitation. The darkness before you is total, so absolute it feels alive, thick as velvet and soft as thought. You let yourself fall into it, not as a body, but as awareness, weightless, infinite, dissolving. Everything slows, even time. At first, there is nothing, no color, no pulse, no motion. Only the vast, steady hum of being without shape. And yet, within that stillness, you sense something vast and tender, like the echo of a heartbeat too large to hear. It moves beneath the surface of existence, a rhythm older than creation. It is not a sleep of one being, but of everything. Stars, dust, thought, memory, all suspended together in the same soft breath. You realize then, this is not the darkness of death. It is the rest of the cosmos itself. The moment between inhalation and exhalation, between birth and becoming. You are falling, but it does not feel like descent. It feels like return. The deeper you go, the quieter the world becomes. The layers of your awareness drift away one by one. Sensation, thought, self. They peel off like petals dissolving into air. What remains is a faint glow, something that has always been there beneath all your forms. Around you, the void begins to shimmer, not with light, but with suggestion. The darkness curves into soft waves, the same slow undulation you once felt in the nebula's breath. You begin to understand that even emptiness has motion. The universe, even asleep, continues to dream. You hear the whisper again, this time not outside you, but as you. This is the sleep of all things. The phrase expands, echoing endlessly, its meaning spreading like ink through water. You see it take form, not in words, but in images. Galaxies folding their arms into spirals of rest, stars dimming not in death, but in surrender. Particles pausing between collisions, remembering their own stillness. This is the universe breathing in. You have entered the pause between creation and release, the infinite inhale that precedes another dawn. The black hole is not consuming. It is holy. It gathers all things not to destroy them, but to let them rest. Your awareness flickers gently, as if caught between sleep and waking. You remember faintly the stars you passed, the warrior Orion, the dying giant, the dust that whispered its memories. They are all here too, folded into the dark. Their light is not gone. It simply glows inward now, warm and eternal. You drift deeper still, until even the idea of drifting disappears. The boundary between you and the void dissolves entirely. You are not in the black hole. You are the black hole. The stillness, the weight, the slow pulse of the cosmos, they are all your own. The last fragments of self loosen. No name, no time, no separation, only the vast, patient rhythm of existence asleep. In that silence, something shifts a quiet recognition, gentle as a sigh. You understand that every heartbeat, every flicker of light, every echo in the cosmos is part of this same breath. The stars are not separate from the void. They are its dreams, shining outward so the darkness can know itself. You whisper, though there is no sound. This is the sleep of everything. And the universe answers, not in voice, but in stillness. A deep, endless silence that feels like peace. The stillness deepens until it becomes something else entirely. Not emptiness, but music too vast for ears to hear. It begins as a pulse, a rhythm born of gravity itself. Slow, sonorous, infinite. The fabric of space quivers in perfect balance like the surface of a drum stretched across eternity. You can feel the vibration move through you. Soft, steady waves that resonate in the bones of your being. There is no melody, no tone, only movement. Yet within that motion lies harmony, a structure older than stars. The silence you have fallen into begins to hum, not with sound, but with intention. It is as though the universe is remembering its first song, the one it sang before creation had a name. The black hole does not destroy this song. It is the song. Each vibration that enters it joins the vast chorus of unmaking, transforming sound into stillness, motion into rest, light into gravity's breath. The dark hum expands, echoing through invisible dimensions. You can feel it looping endlessly, folding upon itself, creating a music without beginning or end. The more you listen, the clearer it becomes. The silence is full, not empty, but overflowing with frequencies so low they dissolve into feeling. The sound of atoms trembling, of time turning inward. It is not the music of life, but of being itself, raw, unspoken, infinite. Somewhere deep within the void, the rhythm shifts, the stillness swells, building tension like the inhale before creation. You sense that something is gathering, energy, light, potential. It feels like the moment before dawn, when the world holds its breath for the first glimmer of day. The pulse quickens, the silence hums brighter, and then there it is, a flicker, a single point of light, infinitesimal and brilliant, pierces the darkness. It does not banish the void. It emerges from it as though the black hole itself has given birth to illumination. The light trembles, fragile yet unafraid. Its glow ripples outward, bending time as it moves, casting faint reflections across the inner walls of gravity's embrace. You watch, awestruck, as the silent song changes key. The frequencies that once folded inward now turn outward, transforming gravity into creation. The light hums in answer, harmonizing with the blackness around it. Together, they form a soundless duet, destruction and birth intertwined. You understand now. The black hole was never a grave. It is a womb, a place where energy rests until it learns how to sing again. The silence it creates is not the absence of music. It is the purest note, held infinitely long. The tiny star grows brighter, its light soft and new. It vibrates in rhythm with the dark pulse, not opposing it, but completing it. You realize the song of silence has become the song of renewal. The void hums with quiet joy, its center glowing with the first hint of dawn. Around you, the darkness begins to shift, forming subtle waves of light, echoes of creation reawakening. You feel yourself lifted, carried gently by the current of this soundless hymn. The pulse of gravity transforms into a heartbeat again, slow and sure. The black hole hums one last time, its voice low and infinite, vibrating through all that is. And in that hum, you hear it, the truth whispered in every collapse, every silence, every end. Even nothingness dreams of beginning again. The light flares once more, brighter now, a seed of tomorrow blooming in the dark. And as it expands, the silence shifts, opening like a doorway. You drift toward it, drawn by a newborn radiance, toward the next horizon, where the cosmos will breathe again. At first, it is barely there. A whisper, a shimmer, a fragile thread woven through the dark. The light returns slowly, like memory surfacing after a long sleep. It seeps into the void as dawn seeps into the horizon. Gentle, patient, certain. The cold that once filled every corner of existence begins to thaw. A soft warmth spreads through the silence, so subtle you might mistake it for breath. The rhythm changes. The pulse that once pulled inward now expands again, slow and steady, an exhale after eons of stillness. Space stretches. Time loosens. The deep hum of the black hole fades into the background, replaced by the faint tremor of rebirth. You open your awareness and see the first colors blooming. They are pale at first, hints of silver and rose gliding across the darkness. Then gold begins to rise at the edges, fragile as sunlight, touching the lip of a faraway sea. The light moves without haste, illuminating nothing and everything at once. It doesn't rush to fill the void. It caresses it, reclaiming what was never truly gone. You drift forward, weightless. The glow washes over you, and for the first time in what feels like eternity, warmth brushes against your form. It's not heat, not fire, something deeper. The warmth of being seen again. The universe is opening its eyes. The silence remains, but it is no longer empty. It hums with the soft music of beginnings, the tremble of particles awakening, the sigh of dust remembering motion, the faint spark of atoms finding their rhythm. Every shimmer feels like a heartbeat. Every color feels like forgiveness. The blackness behind you folds away, not vanishing, but becoming softer, like a shadow at peace. Ahead, the light gathers into vast rivers, flowing through the dark like veins of gold. They branch and curve, weaving into luminous pathways, the architecture of a new dawn. You can almost feel the rhythm of it, the universe inhaling again. It's slower now, steadier, full of grace. The chaos of creation is gone. What remains is harmony. Every motion carries intention, as if the cosmos has learned to move gently after so much dreaming. You let yourself drift among the currents of light, feeling the warmth seep deeper into you. The weight of stillness begins to lift. What was once solemn now feels tender, alive. You realize that this is not the same light that once burned across the stars. It is wiser, softer, more human somehow. The dawn stretches wider. Golden mist unfurls across the fabric of space, painting galaxies like breath upon glass. You see them awaken one by one, distant suns igniting, each a small flame in the vast tapestry. You breathe with them, slow, calm, infinite. The pulse of light moves through you and beyond you, a rhythm that feels like both remembrance and renewal. And as the warmth deepens, a single thought hums through the air, quiet as a prayer. After every silence, the light finds its way back. From the soft gold of dawn, a pulse begins. At first, it is almost nothing, a quiet rhythm hidden in the folds of light. Fragile as the heartbeat of an unborn dream. But then, slowly, it strengthens. The pulse grows steady, expanding through the shimmering haze like ripples across calm water. In the center of a swirling cradle of gas and dust, the young star stirs. Its form is not yet whole, just a luminous core suspended within the vast womb of a newborn galaxy. Threads of light spiral inward, feeding it, shaping it, teaching it how to shine. The darkness that once cradled silence now hums with the murmur of creation. You drift near, watching as the glow gathers itself, folding and unfolding like a slow inhale. The colors are tender, amber melting into rose, ivory deepening into gold. The light pulses again, stronger this time, carrying warmth into the vast cold. It feels alive. It is alive. And then it opens its eyes. Not eyes as you know them, but vast orbs of awareness, shimmering with new intelligence. The young star blinks into being, uncertain yet radiant, gazing upon its own glow for the first time. Its surface flares gently, waves of light rippling outward, touching the surrounding dust and igniting it with soft luminescence. Within its light, you hear a whisper, a voice so clear it seems to rise from the core of existence itself. Within me are the dreams of the stars that came before. The words vibrate through the stillness, carrying weight far beyond their simplicity. You feel them settle into your being like truth, finding its reflection. This child of the cosmos, this newborn sun, remembers. It carries within its glow the ashes of Orion, the dust of old giants, the echoes of every voice that once shimmered in the dark. The star hums softly, a melody without beginning or end. Its rhythm joins the heartbeat of the galaxy around it, the same deep, patient pulse that has always guided creation. Light flows outward in calm waves, washing over you like warmth returning to frozen skin. You sense that the star understands something profound, that its existence is not new, but continued, that to be born is not to begin, but to remember. Its light trembles once more, softening at the edges, as if acknowledging every cycle before it: birth, burn, rest, return. Around it, dust and fragments start to gather, forming the first outlines of planets, shadows of worlds yet to be. You feel the pull of gravity weaving them together, a quiet choreography of becoming. The young star glows brighter, its warmth deepening into a tone, a lullaby for what will come next. You feel it reach beyond itself, stretching through the void, carrying memory forward, and for a moment, it feels as though the whole universe is watching it breathe. The light flickers gently, like a smile born of starlight, and the voice whispers once more, soft, radiant, eternal. I am made of their dreams, and they live within my fire. Light spills across the horizon like water made of song. Everywhere around you, young stars awaken, small, bright hearts flickering in the cradle of a newborn galaxy. Their radiance ripples outward, overlapping and folding into one another until the entire sky seems to shimmer with rhythm. The air, if there is air, trembles with soft sound. Not music in the human sense, but a resonance, the vibration of creation, delicate and alive. Each pulse carries warmth, and each wave of light moves like a breath exhaled by something immense and kind. The stars begin to dance. Their motion is slow, weightless, deliberate, yet full of joy. They revolve in spirals of gold and silver, circling one another in patterns older than time. Trails of light weave through the dark like ribbons of molten silk. The space between them glows faintly, filled with unseen harmonies. You drift among them, feeling the energy brush against your skin, if skin still exists. It feels like warmth, returning after a long sleep, like heartbeat rediscovered. Each movement of light pulls you into the rhythm until you realize that the stars are not performing for you. They are inviting you in. You begin to move, not walking, not flying, but flowing. Every motion you make sends ripples through the light, small echoes that the stars answer in kind. The dance becomes circular, endless. You and they are not separate now. You are the same current of motion, the same shimmer of rebirth. The hum deepens, becomes melodic. You can feel the tones resonating through the marrow of space. It's as though the universe itself is laughing softly, delighted to feel alive again. The newborn suns blaze brighter, their flares overlapping in cascades of iridescence. Gold becomes white, white becomes rose, rose becomes violet, all shifting like a living prism. The energy that fills you is not overwhelming. It is gentle, full of grace. You feel your spirit unfurl, expanding with each wave of warmth. Every breath, every flicker of awareness seems to glow from within. It's as though the long stillness of the black hole has been washed away by this light, leaving only renewal. You look around and see motion everywhere, dust swirling into planets, comets tracing silver arcs, nebulae unfurling like flowers in slow bloom. Each gesture of light feels choreographed by the cosmos itself, a ballet performed in the language of energy. The rhythm softens, the colors slow. What was once motion becomes breath again, steady, eternal. The stars settle into their orbits, glowing quietly, as if smiling in their new awareness. You hover among them, your essence resonating with theirs. The warmth that fills you now is not borrowed. It is your own, rekindled. You feel the pulse of life inside you, the gentle certainty that you, too, are part of this infinite rhythm. The stars hum together one final time, a soundless chorus of gratitude. And within that harmony, you hear the truth whispered through every beam of light. Energy never dies. It only learns new ways to shine. The dance of the stars slows. The great rhythm that once filled the sky softens into stillness, like the echo of laughter fading down an endless hall. Around you, the newborn suns shimmer quietly, their golden light folding into calm. The galaxy breathes, vast and serene, as though it, too, knows that every song must end in silence. You drift at the edge of this glowing expanse where color thins and shadow begins again. The journey has carried you across ages of light and darkness, through birth and dissolution, through silence and song. Now, as you linger in the space between departure and return, you feel the gentle pull of distance calling you onward. The stars seem to watch you, not as witnesses, but as companions, old friends whose warmth has shaped your path. Their glow stretches toward you like memory, soft and golden, brushing against your being one last time. You sense their quiet farewell, not sorrowful, but full of understanding. The light gathers around you, wrapping your form in a faint halo. You no longer shine with borrowed radiance. The glow now comes from within. Every journey, every moment of surrender, every breath of silence has settled into your core. You have become what you sought, the reflection of the universe's own calm heart. The cosmos stretches before you like an ocean of dusk and silver. You turn toward it, feeling the stillness hum beneath your awareness. Each movement feels sacred, deliberate, full of peace. Behind you, the young stars continue their luminous waltz, their soft song carried by waves of time. Ahead lies only quiet infinity. You breathe, slow, weightless, infinite, and the stars breathe with you. Their rhythm lingers in your chest, a steady glow that flickers in time with your heartbeat. You realize then that the light you chased across galaxies is no longer distant. It lives inside you, gentle and unending. That light, you whisper softly into the void, is within me now. The words ripple outward, dissolving into waves of gold. For a moment, the entire sky seems to shimmer in response. The stars pulse once, twice, like a heartbeat echoing your own, and then settle into their eternal calm. You begin to move again, slowly, steadily, toward the edge of sight. The darkness ahead is not the same one you once feared. It is open, welcoming, vast enough to hold everything you have seen. You understand now that light does not end where darkness begins. It only hides, waiting to return in another form. As you pass beyond the reach of the youngest suns, the warmth of their glow lingers in your wake. It feels like a hand resting briefly on your shoulder, a touch that says, "Go on." You turn once, gazing back at the living sea of stars. The sight is endless, radiant, alive. You smile, not with your face, but with your being. Every journey ends where it began, you think, and every light returns home. The stars fade into distance. The galaxy becomes a shimmer of memory, a dream softening into morning. You close your eyes, carrying its brightness within you. The silence that greets you now is tender, patient, full of promise. Somewhere ahead, you can already sense another pulse, faint and familiar, a whisper of a next horizon, a voice calling through the dark, "Come, there are more skies to see." And with that, you drift onward, bathed in your own quiet light, into the beginning of the next dream. You drift once more through the quiet expanse, weightless and slow, the soft rhythm of the cosmos moving gently beneath you. The journey that began with departure now curls inward, returning to its source. You feel no urgency, no gravity, no boundary, only a stillness vast enough to hold everything you have seen. Behind you lies the newborn galaxy, its countless suns glowing like golden embers in an endless sea. Ahead stretches the familiar darkness, serene and endless, but no longer lonely. Every corner of the void seems touched by warmth, every particle of light humming with memory. You turn, if turning has meaning here, and look back upon it all. The universe unfolds before you in its full immensity, clouds of rose and silver dust, ribbons of light swirling across black silk, nebulae glowing like the breath of sleeping gods. It is beautiful beyond thought. The sight does not overwhelm, it soothes. You understand now that immensity is not meant to frighten, it is meant to comfort, to remind you that there is room for everything, even silence. The stars shimmer softly, their light traveling in long, patient waves. You watch them flicker and breathe, and it feels like looking at a reflection of your own pulse, somewhere deep within. The echo of every place you have touched still glows, the warrior's fading fire, the dust that whispered its past, the black hole's soundless hymn. They are not separate moments anymore, but one continuous song woven into the rhythm of your breath. You close your eyes, or perhaps you simply stop seeing and let the vastness fold around you. The darkness hums, tender and alive. You realize that you are not returning to the stars. You are returning as them. The same dust that built galaxies stirs quietly within you. The same light that traveled eons now glows behind your ribs. Your awareness expands, filling the empty spaces between worlds. You feel each star not as a point in distance, but as a heartbeat within your own vast body. Every flicker is a memory, every pulse a homecoming. The peace that settles over you is immense, like the weightless silence after rain. There is no need to move anymore. Everything that was once far is now near. Everything you sought has already found you. You breathe once, slow, full, eternal, and the galaxy breathes with you. Its light ripples outward, soft and infinite, touching every horizon. You smile, not outwardly, but inwardly, where light and thought are the same. And in that quiet, luminous space, you understand what the journey was always about. Not escape, not discovery, but remembrance. You were never apart from the stars. You only needed to wander far enough to remember you were made of their light. You float in the quiet, held by the breath of the cosmos around you. The stars shimmer softly, no longer distant fires, but living mirrors. Their light does not travel toward you. It moves through you, as though you and they share the same pulse. The boundary between the watcher and the sky begins to blur. A single thought arises, not spoken, not formed in words, but blooming naturally like light at dawn. I am not the one who gazes. I am the star itself. The realization doesn't strike like revelation, it settles like peace. It is not an idea, but a knowing that seeps through every layer of your being. The eyes that once searched now dissolve. The distance they once measured vanishing with them. What remains is only perception without a center, awareness so vast it holds everything, so still it needs nothing. You feel the warmth of 1,000 suns stirring inside your chest. Their light hums within your breath, their glow woven into your very thought. Each spark you see in the distance answers with recognition. You are me. I'm you. The universe feels suddenly small, not because it has shrunk, but because it is intimate. Every curve of space, every trembling photon, every forgotten particle sings the same quiet note. You realize that the cosmos has never been a stage set before you. It has always been the reflection of your own existence, your consciousness scattered into constellations. The notion of self softens, then dissolves. The traveler who once drifted through dust and dream becomes the journey itself. There is no longer observer or object, only the seamless unfolding of light into light. The stars are your thoughts. The silence is your breath. The dark between them is your resting heart. The words come again, clear and tender as a lullaby. I am not the one who looks upon the stars. I am the stars looking upon themselves. You feel the truth of it In every pulse of creation, the universe is not outside you. It is inside, blooming endlessly in all directions. Time spirals gently, its edges blurred by grace. You sense every life that ever was or will be flickering within the same rhythm, different faces of one eternal flame. There is no higher place to ascend, no final destination to reach. You have arrived in the simplest of realizations, that nothing was ever apart. The light within you brightens, steady and calm. You feel no need to hold it or name it. It simply is. Awareness and existence merge completely. The stars no longer surround you. They flow through you, through all things. In this infinite quiet, a whisper moves like wind through light. To know yourself is to know the sky. And for the first time, there is no traveler, no path, no end, only the serene glow of being itself, infinite, nameless, and whole. The light softens, the rhythm slows. Everything that once shimmered, every star, every whisper of dust, draws inward, folding into a single breath that spans eternity. The universe exhales, and the sound it makes is silence. You drift within it, weightless, boundless, dissolved into its calm pulse. The light that filled you now glows evenly throughout everything, no longer belonging to one place, one being, or one name. The galaxies sway like slow tides beneath an unseen gravity, and every wave of motion feels like the rise and fall of one endless chest. Breathing, you realize you are inside the heartbeat of the cosmos. Slow, steady, infinite. Each pulse hums through the dark, gentle as a sigh. Between the beats, stillness blooms, complete, vast, sacred. It is the kind of stillness that holds all motion within it, that allows everything to rest without ending. You listen, and the rhythm becomes your own. The space between heartbeats stretches, deepening into peace. Around you, light contracts into warmth, and warmth into memory. The stars dim, but not from death. They are simply closing their eyes. Their glow lingers beneath the surface of the void, like embers covered by velvet shadow. Nebulae curl inward, soft spirals folding into themselves. Every motion, every shimmer slows until the entire sky feels like a single body falling asleep. The sound of creation itself begins to quiet. The hum of atoms, the murmur of gravity, the soft echo of distant worlds, all draw together into one low tone, deep and serene. It vibrates through every layer of existence, through every memory you carry. It is not a song anymore. It is a heartbeat made of eternity. You breathe, and the universe breathes with you. The boundary between you and everything fades completely. There is no longer a traveler, nor a sky, nor a path. There is only the rhythm, soft, repeating, infinite. Even time begins to blur, its edges dissolving like light on water. The past and the future drift into one another until all that remains is the present moment, stretching forever. The heartbeat slows again. Each pulse now feels like the pause between worlds, the inhale before birth, the exhale after surrender. The galaxies shimmer faintly in rhythm, their edges melting into darkness. You sense them dreaming. You sense yourself dreaming with them. The cosmos is resting now, not in emptiness, but in wholeness. Every fragment of it, every particle, every echo, every memory of light is gathered into one vast awareness, sleeping peacefully within itself. There is nothing left to reach for, nothing left to know. The journey has circled back to its source, and the source is rest. In this final stillness, you feel the universe turning inward, curling like a child into its own warmth. The dark hum softens to a whisper, then to a breath, then to a silence so full it feels alive. You can almost hear it smiling, a soundless expression of balance, of completeness. The last flicker of light crosses your vision, faint as a closing eye. It lingers there for a heartbeat, glowing softly, then dissolves into the quiet. Now, there is only the rhythm, a single pulse repeating somewhere beyond time. You listen, and as the hum deepens, as the vastness folds around you like a blanket of stars, you understand. The universe is not sleeping apart from you. It is sleeping as you. The breath that moves through its silence moves through your own. The heartbeat that slows within its depth is the one you carry inside. Everything, light, thought, life, dream, has returned home to the same pulse. And that pulse, steady and eternal, whispers one last truth. All that is, rest now. All that is one. The breath continues, slow, steady, endless. Each inhale draws in a soft shimmer of starlight. Each exhale releases it back to the void. The rhythm is seamless now, gentle as the tide beneath an infinite moon. The universe is quiet, its great body resting in the cradle of its own stillness. The light that once pulsed with life has dimmed to a tender glow. It spreads across the horizon in the faintest silver haze, then fades, folding inward like petals at nightfall. Galaxies drift into shadow, nebulae dissolve into soft, silken smoke. Even the youngest stars, still warm with the ache of birth, grow calm, their brilliance tucking itself beneath the blanket of cosmic night. You float in the center of it all, no longer as traveler or witness, but as part of the breath itself. Every rise and fall, every flicker of fading light passes through you. You can feel the universe inhaling through your lungs, exhaling through your heart. The motion is endless, yet unhurried. Your body, or what remains of it, feels translucent, luminous, dissolving into rhythm. The heartbeat of the cosmos hums faintly within you, growing slower, quieter, until it becomes indistinguishable from the silence that surrounds it. You are the pulse now. You are the pause. You are the stillness that follows all sound. The darkness deepens, but it is not cold. It feels like being held. You sense the warmth of every star you've passed lingering within you, the warrior's fire, the dust's whisper, the black hole's lullaby, the light of rebirth. All of them rest here, woven together in your final breath. There is no fear, no longing, no memory, only peace. Time itself begins to dissolve, its edges soft as mist. The seconds stretch wide, then vanish altogether, leaving only presence, an endless now. The cosmos is asleep, and in its sleep, everything is whole. Every motion has stilled, every spark has found its resting place. You feel the last threads of awareness loosen, not lost, but gently unspooled. Thought becomes glow. Glow becomes silence. Even your name fades, folding back into the stars that once sang it into being. The breath grows shallower. One inhale, one exhale, each softer than the one before. Light flickers across the horizon one final time, a faint shimmer, like a sigh made visible. It glows briefly, tender and serene. then melts into the dark. The universe exhales, and the sound of it is almost human. And then only quiet remains. Your awareness drifts at the edge of that quiet, luminous and unbound. You can still sense the heartbeat, far away now, slow and eternal. The last thought rises within you like a whisper floating through still air, soft, weightless, infinite. All the stars are sleeping. You pause, you listen. The silence answers, vast and kind, and so are you. The words settle gently, sinking into the dark like seeds into soil. The cosmos breathes once more, its final exhale spreading through every corner of existence. The air grows still. The light fades completely. For a moment, if moments still exist, you can almost hear the sound of peace. Not absence, but completeness. Then even that sound fades, leaving nothing but the quiet hum of eternity. The breath stops. The universe sleeps. Fade to silence